Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I have the beard of a man that lives in a cave, and I feel like I've been living in a cave for a long time because I have never heard of this really interesting franchise until this anime season. And I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt about that. Never really heard of it at all until friends of mine had mentioned it to me. And then I found out that it was getting an anime adaptation this season. Um, Talking about this little thing called Tower of God. And basically this is gonna be my first reaction to the first three episodes that we have here, because at the time of this recording, that is what we have right now. Um, so Tower of God is super interesting because I'm in love sort of with the mystery of it. At the same time, I kind of am worried about that, but we'll get to that in a second. This is based off of a Korean webtoon, if I understand it correctly. I don't know how long or like how far in advance the original source material is at this point. Probably way far ahead. So this is going to be a 13 episode anime airing this season so I don't know how much they're really going to accomplish in this first season as well, but man is it exciting so far. So in three episodes, basically the gist of it, if you've never really heard of Tower of God, um, there's this very mysterious world and this tower, in this tower where there's the main character's name is Bam, and he's the brown haired guy right there. And at the very beginning of the story, he is friends with this blonde girl named Rachel. And literally, like the very first scene, Rachel is saying that she wants to see the stars. She wants to ascend the tower. And of course, we don't really have any idea what the tower is. And neither really does Bam. What I really like about this story is that like it's Bam doesn't really know much more about the world around him than the viewer does, and I think that's really cool. But basically, there's this big structure tower building thing. I don't really know if it's like if this is all the same planet or multiple sort of things going on, but there seems to be some sort of world under the tower, and then every stage of the tower seems like it either transports you to another world or like it is its own world. There's seemingly a fuck ton of stages of the tower. I don't remember if they indicate how many there are, but it turns out that this is a place where a lot of people, sort of like hunters and Hunter x Hunter, go towards to ascend and climb the tower to reach kind of like whatever they want at the top. The top is the ultimate goal. Only a certain amount of people have ever made it there. A lot of those people who have ascended the tower now work in it as sort of the tester people, sort of like the proctors of the endeavor of climbing the tower. And for whatever reason, Rachel wants to climb the tower. So she is leaving Bam behind. Bam isn't really into this, but he it happens anyway, and he's like, oh, whatever, I'm gonna follow her. He seemingly loves this girl. I don't really think he has anything else, so it's like, it kind of gets you right in the feels because this girl might be this dude's everything, and he's gonna chase her to seemingly the end of the world or wherever he wants to. He's seems like a pretty kind-hearted person. I'm really hoping we get some sort of backstory to him. We get like here and there they show like how I think him and Rachel met and stuff like that, and some stuff like briefly before the series or sometime before the series. Slowly they've been explaining that to us. Don't want to spoil too much here, but it's this very mysterious tower thing that people are going to climb. Seemingly of a variety of different sort of like races of species and stuff like that. Like there's lizard people. There's like just monstrous looking people of all sort of shapes and sizes. Reminded me a lot of like Hunter x Hunter, the Hunter exam of that. Um, but I think like a little more, a lot more mysterious. Um, Bam is clearly not like one of these people, and he's dubbed as an irregular, I believe. And there's, I'm sure, going to be a lot of explaining as to like what it means to be an irregular and what irregulars can actually like hope to accomplish in this world. Excuse me. Um, but the kid's got a lot of heart, and he's um, really willing to do seemingly almost anything just to find Rachel. And he's pretty smart as well. He's able to sort of get himself out of like some crappy situations. And sometimes his sheer just instinct helps him a lot. Like instinct, one thing that these first 3 episodes have taught me is that instinct seems to get you pretty far in this world. If you sort of trust what your heart says, and you know do whatever you're doing, like with all the passion and stuff that you can give, it seems to be like it's working out. And there's this consistent sort of debate going on between people, sort of like Bam, and there's this other guy named Rack. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Um, but he's this like big, like animal looking dude who just seemingly wants to like fight and like find people with like really strong weapons and just brawl them. He's a very interesting character. He also really likes chocolate. Um, but he basically teams up with our main character as we progress in the stages of ascending the tower. And then there's the other member of their little 3-man squad named Kun. If I'm pronouncing that correctly, I'm sorry if I'm not. Who is this blue hair kid who acts sort of like he comes from this like prestigious background, but there's some clearly some weird shenanigans going on with his family and stuff like that. He has this like briefcase that we're really wondering what the hell is inside of. He's teamed up with Bam and Rack. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say Rack, with Bam and Rack for seemingly kind of just almost like to use them. He's very much an observer. I really like Kun a lot because I kind of think that if I was in this sort of situation, I would sort of default to sort of being in the back and sort of observing what everyone else was doing and seeing how that might affect my efforts in this crazy world, which is sort of shown to not necessarily be the best thing to do. And I think that that's the interesting sort of debate here is, do you go into something like wholeheartedly, sort of like charge into things, or do you look at things more patiently, or do you sort of waste time, as it were, thinking about certain situations and stuff like that? And I think that that's a very two interesting schools of thought, because I think there's a lot of benefits to one, or to benefits to like both, and then like sacrifices obviously that you make when you act like one or the others, positives and negatives to both sides. And like I said, the tower in itself is just super intriguing, and just I got so many questions. Now, I said earlier like that, like while I have a whole bunch of questions, and I think that that's really cool, like trying to seek these answers, and I am fairly confident that the show is going to answer some of them in these 13 episodes. I'm not naive enough to know to like say that it's clearly not going to answer everything. And I've said before in the past, that's sort of my problem with shows like Attack on Titan, where I feel like they are layering questions in front of me and providing answers to like 5% of them. And for that reason, I kind of consider Attack on Titan. Haven't seen season 3. I know, I've heard it's amazing, but seasons 1 and 2 of Attack on Titan I kind of consider a drag for those reasons. But I kind of don't get the vibe in this, because aesthetically I think it's way more appealing. I think the art style of this show, while it took me a second sort of to get used to it, because it seems kind of grainy and the character designs are, you know, fairly unique, I would say. It doesn't look like a lot of anime out there, and I think that I'm assuming they were trying to go for like what the web comic looks like, and very good job on the studio for that. So I think it's definitely recognizable. Like I could see these character designs. Like if I took like some kind of quiz on like what is this character from, you could probably tell it was from Tower of God based upon how they were drawn and stuff like that. So I think that that's really cool. It's certainly identifiable. It's unique in how it looks. The action scenes are animated pretty well. The music's pretty good too. OP's pretty good. The But yeah, I think that my favorite part about this 3 episodes in is sort of that the blending of different like character ideals and stuff like that, and obviously the intrigue of seeing what the hell lies at the top of this tower, because there are just so many crazy things going on at the same time. There's like this royal family thing and these like holy weapons that and Bam's connection to them and his connection to Rachel. I want to know more about his connection to Rachel, his connection to this world. What is the world underneath the tower? Like, why does Bam seemingly knows so little about the world around him? Like, he hasn't even he's surprised at like the sky and stuff, like, or what he like is perceived as the sky, and he's very confused about everything, just like the viewer. And I don't know. I like this a lot. I have some very good friends that recommended this highly, and it really did not disappoint. This was one of the best recommendations I've had from friends in the community in a long time. So if you're listening, Do Young, and Zarin, to be fair, it is very 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 cool seeing this. I don't know if I would go into reading it necessarily. Maybe after the 13 episode run, we'll see where we are then. I might do another video about this series in the future. But yeah, if you guys, I try not to spoil too much for people. Please go check out the first 3 episodes. They're really they're fantastic. It is. I would say you could probably just binge them all at once, and it would still feel pretty cool. It's not a show that really like drags. I kind of like its pacing. And I think it's very very interesting and definitely something I'm going to stick with for the rest of this season. So if you guys have seen the first 3 episodes of Tower of God, or maybe you've read the webcomic or both or something like that, while I'm not the hugest hater on spoilers personally, please try to avoid spoilers down below in the comment section and let me know what you like about the series and what you think about these first 3 episodes. So if you like what I'm doing here, please hit that subscribe button. And if you really, really, really like what I'm doing here, please consider joining my Patreon. There'll be a link down below in the description box. Thank you again to everybody that recommended this show. Definitely, please go check out Tower of God. I don't think you're going to regret that. And my name is Miasma, and I'll see you next time.